Hey guys, welcome back to the TohirT channel. TohirT is here. I hope you had a fantastic week. Well, I had like a string of tech videos and there's another string of tech videos coming up. I decided it's probably worth breaking it up with a light topic like politics. Yeah, I know, listen, before you click out of this video, I actually do want to talk a little bit about the politics and the choice and the importance of a vote, but from a very different perspective of a new platform of the people that encourages really citizens like you and I to go and make a more impactful change in the organizations that essentially currently almost like make the decisions outside of our control. They make the laws, they proceed with the laws, they not necessarily check in with us. So through the Of the People and similar organizations like the one I'm going to discuss today, I want to make sure you, if you want to promote a particular idea independently of your party, have an opportunity to go and run for office, as well as for someone like myself who is interested in supporting people with good ideas rather than people representing a particular color. Well, this is the video for you, and I promise next week we're going to be back to our usual scheduled programming. Let's do this!
Of the people, by the people, and for the people.
The key themes on my channel are people, places, and tech. So if you're curious to hear some other inspirational stories about different people all over the world and in different kind of industries, well, check out this playlist or one of the end cards at the end of the video. Well, Of the People attracted me as a platform, and I came across it as a platform while I was doing my research and trying to understand, why do I have to pick from the choice that I have in front of me? As many people out there who I see online, they're stuck in the same indecision, like how and who and why would I pick between these two? Why don't I have a better alternative? And as I was searching for it, I was trying to understand, well, maybe it's about someone like myself running for office. So how do I run for office? Or maybe it's about someone like myself, a voter, finding a local representative, someone who I can almost like follow and nurture over the next couple of years, support them, and hopefully they will represent better the ideas that I have. This is actually part of the reason why I don't carry any party affiliation. Simply, I cannot find the perfect match to what I see as my values and what those two parties represent. And quite frankly, with the polarization that we currently see both in media, on social media, and the creation of those bubbles that really just like create an echo chamber of their ideas, a lot of politicians out there, they kind of like lean further into their own distinct directions, widening that divide. That change in the culture of the party was primarily driven by the fact that a lot of the politicians who are currently sitting in Senate and in the House, they're just there for the sake of being elected. They're really there for the sake of the job. They do not care about representing the true views of people who elected them in the first place. Just look at how much of an impact they had on their own states. Not that much at all. And ultimately they're career politicians who want to remain in those seats until they essentially drop dead. Which I don't think is correct, especially considering how much the world have changed recently. We need that fresh blood coming in. We need the fresh blood, fresh views coming in and representing both parties. And that's where the Of the People comes in. I really enjoyed the fact that this organization decided from the very beginning to be bipartisan. It's all about helping people bring the views that represent the current dynamics of the world. Ultimately, it should not be about, oh, do you believe science or don't you believe science? Because if you don't believe science, well, yes, there is a party for you out there. But ultimately, it should be about global warming is a fact. COVID-19 is a fact, but how we approach it, what do we do, what kind of steps do we take, how far do we let government get involved versus allow private businesses get involved. Those should be the major differences between the two parties, and this is where I think we should continue to drive the main value of making sure that America, the United States, is better off as a country. And who, when, what color, party they represent, that should be just the finer details, but ultimately it is Americans working towards the American goal, and this is where Of the People will become that future platform enabling the Americans, not a single party, bipartisan Americans striving to make their country a better place.
Of the people, by the people, and for the people.
I can hear already saying, Tahir, what chances do I have being elected? Actually quite high. You'll be very much surprised. According to this table over here that I found, about 25% of local and state seats are going into the election unopposed. Meaning there is no second candidate. The person who is an incumbent, who won the election like 5 times ago, they still keep getting re-elected because there's no one else to oppose them. And Quite frankly, I wouldn't be surprised if there is on purpose lack of that information out there, because those people who get automatically elected, they don't mind it. They enjoy the fact that they can just by default inherit that position, where I think that position should be earned. And this is where, if you look at state like Iowa, 75% of the seats, 3 in 4 seats in 2019 were ran unopposed. So if you're living in Iowa and you're sitting there and saying, hey, there's no local representative representing my views, guess what? You can be that representative. Of the People aims to provide someone like yourself, if you want to try and run for your office, the testing bed. The platform is essentially the community where you can walk in as a potential candidate, develop a platform, test the waters, run it by certain people, gather the feedback, adjust your talk track, adjust the way you position it, what kind of views you represent, really figure it out if your ideas have the legs under them, so to speak. And if they do, guess what? You actually also will be able to gather a future team out of people who support your idea and want to help you and empower you on your path. And even maybe in the future, the donors, one of the ideas that Of the People has is to help people not directly fundraise on the platform. That's not the primary goal, but potentially get in touch with those who would become your donors in the future after you really understand that, yes, there is a merit to your ideas. This is the kind of tools we need to enable both parties. It's, again, doesn't matter whether you're Republican, whether you're independent, whether you're Democrat, you should be able to have an equal chance to run for office. You should have equal chance and equal access to all this information, because ultimately the ideas should win, the ideals should win, and not just the people who have the biggest bank account behind them.
Of the people, by the people, and for the people.
The goal I really subscribe to that Of the People has in front of them is to get one of the candidates from the platform to be elected to official office by 2022. This is great because that means that for someone like you and I, if we are on the voters' side of the fence and we want to find the local candidates who we really relate to, the platform will provide that as well. Through this platform, we will have a chance to find those candidates who are much closer in representing our ideas and our views. We should not be again in a situation 4 years from now looking at the 2 presidential candidates and saying, who do I vote against versus who do I vote for? We want to make sure people start early on at the local level of elections. They nurture their ideas. People like ourselves on that platform start gathering behind them and help them shape those ideas. Make sure they still represent the views of the current democratic population and slowly push them further and further up through the chain. Ultimately, it starts at the grassroots and it keeps building up. We need that platform as voters. We need a way to facilitate finding those candidates, because today, who is running for the local election? I have no clue. I have no clue what they represent, because archaic methods by which they currently run for the office, by which they promote their ideas, need to be changed. And the platform like Of the People will drive that change. Do they have all the ideas and all the solutions covered right now for the voters and the candidates? No, this program is in its early stages. Yet this is what it takes. People like us who care. If you made it this far into this video, you care about this country as much as I do. And we do not have all the tools or the knowledge or expertise to drive it, but we have an intention and a passion. We want to make sure people who win the elections for the office win them for the ideas, and not just because how well they can BS through their platform. As well as we want to make sure people who ultimately are in the office are held accountable to delivering on their promises. All of this takes time. All of this takes people getting educated on both sides of the fence, whether they're running for the office and they're trying to test for the ideas, or whether they're trying to vote like us. This is where ultimately the biggest value Of the People brings, is that unity of both views on a single platform, discussing, polishing it, iterating on the idea until ultimately we get that candidate who finally enters the Congress, the House, the local Congress, the local House, office position, one at a time. Yes, it is easier said than done, but we have to push for that change. The people who are currently in the seats, the career politicians who've been there for like 20, 30, 40 years, they're completely out of touch with what people currently value, the topics that they want to pursue. A lot of the policies today are being pushed back on us from those politicians and then augmented through media. So for us, it's pivotal to get the right people into the office who represent the current views and who are not deterred and try to play to the tune of the party that is represented by some particular animal just because They should be supporting the best ideas. We should be providing and supporting those best ideas. And ultimately, the best ideas across both parties, 2, 3, however many parties will end up being, it should ultimately be the idea of improving this country versus a very particular path that just panders to a particular small demographic that is the loudest, that has the right channel, and has just a couple of those career politicians in the office just latching on their chairs and not letting go.
Of the people, by the people, and for the people.
If you made it this far, at least I know that this ideas resonated with you. Well, about specifically of the people. This organization is 100% volunteer-based organization. Participation there is free. You do not have to represent a particular view. You just have to be interested in improving the current situation that we're all facing. The group was founded by Ian and Tom, who are both tech professionals like myself. They both saw that there's not enough choice, not enough views represented, not enough diversity in those views, so they decided to do something about it. And they're doing it outside of their work, they're doing it for free, they just purely spend their spare time on building this platform up. And you can support it today. It's in its infancy. We don't have yet the full platform for people to create their profiles, to test their ideas if they're running for office, or for people who want to vote to support those ideas. Right now, we're just building out the platform, but you can definitely go on the website over here and subscribe to their newsletter to make sure you stay in touch. If you can afford, you can also go and chip in a few dollars and support them on Patreon. I'll drop the link down in the description. Go check them out. You will have an opportunity to make that early impact. The funds will go primarily towards paying for the servers, for the platform, for any kind of like web tools that we will need to promote these ideas, but there will not be any lobbyist intervention, any particular views driving us selecting very specific individuals to promote under the pretenses of the people platform. No, this is all purely independent. This is about people who care about the country, care about the America, who want to see the improvement across the entire ballot, from the local elections to the state election to the federal election. And we will go at it a few small changes at a time, a few information pieces at a time, because ultimately it's all about information, it's all about access to that information, it's all about making sure bipartisan views that represent both parties, independently of their cultural, socioeconomic, the religious view, the racial background, the professional background, none of it should matter, because ultimately, and what we should all strive to achieve, is that we need to make this country a place where our kids will be proud to be born, proud to be raised, proud to represent when they travel internationally. And for that, it takes all of us making that one small step at a time, supporting the right people, one vote at a time, and making this place the one that we wish it would be, based on all those Columbia posters, what that Statue of Liberty represents on Ellis Island, and ultimately what we all want it to be in the heart of our hearts.
Of the people, by the people, and for the people.
Have you guys heard about Of the People? Do you agree that that was overdue idea and I'm finally glad we have it? And what else do you think we can do as voters or as potential candidates to help people like ourselves benefit for a platform like OTP? Of the People. Well, share your thoughts and comments and ideas in the section below. I don't think I'm pretty sure I did not mention the fact that I do not directly have any affiliation with like Tom or Ian beyond this platform, and this video was not endorsed by them, so I actually hope they're okay with me producing it, but I fully subscribe to their idea. I found their project right in the midst of me questioning a lot of the items that we currently see in the news, we see in the current politics, we see in this upcoming election. It was easy for me to relate to. It was easy for me to see that path towards the progress that we all need and hungry for. If you think about the founding fathers, if you think about the monumental personalities like John Lewis, those who made that tremendous impact on the political evolution of this country, all of them had a common goal in mind, and all of them came from someone like us. They were not career politicians. They were regular citizens who cared to see the United States of America become a better place for everybody involved, independently of the party that they represent. Thank you very much, guys, for stopping by. If you're new to this channel, go ahead, hit the subscribe button and check out the videos in the backlog. And if you're already a subscriber, thank you very much for stopping by. As always, let me know in the comment section below what you thought about this video, and I will see you all next Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern, on this very channel. Okay, we're back to music recommendations for the outro. Today it is Simi. Simi actually is one of those who've been a while and been around for a while. I saw some albums and some music from her from like back early 2000s. She's a Nigerian performer, R&B, Afrobeats, Afropop, a little bit almost like Arabic tunes in some latest tracks that I've heard. It's very interesting style, very much of a vibe, and I enjoyed it. The Restless 2 is the new EP that I came across this Friday. Loved it, had it on the loop throughout half of the day, really enjoyed it, and highly recommend to you this new artist. Other than that, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.